Let us talk about modifiers to data type. As the word modifiers indicates, it modifies the behavior of the data type, or it is an attribute to the data type. Let us say, for example, I declare instead of int roll underscore number, I say short int roll underscore number. So generally int occupies 4 bytes. The modifier short causes the integer to be only of 2 bytes. The advantage of these modifiers is they are used to reduce or enlarge storage space or modify the behavior of that particular data item. Now, these modifiers are really important because you can choose to save memory, increase performance, improve performance, and so on. Now, for example, suppose you're using a lot of integer variables and they are going to be of very small range. They can just be between 1 to 100. So it is good you declare them as short int rather than integer because they'll occupy half the space of what an integer variable occupies. So for example, in embedded systems like your mobile phones, car automation, washing machines, memory is very little and expensive. So by saving memory, you can improve the performance, reduce the cost, and so on. There are a number of different modifiers. The more common ones of them will be calling signed, unsigned, long, and short. Now, for the integer data type, you can prefix it with signed, unsigned, long, and short. I'll tell you what signed means. If I say just int a, that means a can store both positive and negative numbers. If I say unsigned int a, that means a can hold only 0 or positive numbers. Long is a type of integer which can store a much larger value than a normal int. Normal int, assume if it is of 4 bytes, that means 32 bits. Long can be about 64 bits, thereby having a more capacity to store larger number. Now, you can also use signed and unsigned to a character data. Character data you can use to store between 0 to 255. Suppose you say char I, that means I can hold 0 to 127 and minus 128 on the negative side. But if you say unsigned, then it can store from 0 to 255 in 8 bits. So signed, unsigned really means whether a number can hold positive only or both positive and negative. When we declare a variable normally, by default or naturally, it is a signed type of a variable or a data type. Now, long is used to increase the capacity of int. Long can be also applied to double. You can say long double. So the capacity of double also increases. Now, signed and unsigned can also be prefixed to long and short type of a data. You can say long int I equal to 0. This is a signed one. You can say unsigned long int x. That means it can only hold 0 or a positive number. Or you don't have to use the word int. You can say unsigned long. This is also okay. Now, shorthand notation for writing unsigned, short, or long is you can write short int a equal to 10, or you can omit this int and you can say short a is assigned the value 10. Okay, short int a is equal to 10, short a is assigned the value 10. So this is all the different modifiers we'll be using. The more common modifier we'll be using will be long and unsigned. The rest are long, unsigned, and short. These are the three modifiers you need to know. As we begin, this is an example of it. Instead of saying short int a, I just say short a. So if a normal int occupies 4 bytes, this short a, because of this declaration, will occupy only 2 bytes. Take a look at the different data types, their size, and what their meaning is. Now, when I say int I, it is an integer which can hold both positive and negative. Generally, its size is 4 bytes. When you are looking at this entire table, just to let you know, the size of different data types depends on the compiler and the hardware of the machine. Okay, if you want to know what is the exact size allocated to each data type or variable on your machine, you may use the size of operator to find out the data types values. All right. So if you say signed int I, it occupies 4 bits. Unsigned also occupies 4, but it can only store 0 or positive numbers. Short generally 2 bytes. So you can see the range of short minus 32,768 to plus 32,768 including 0. Long is minimum 4 bytes. It can generally be equal to 8 bytes used for long integers. Unsigned long, it can store 0 or positive numbers. Long at least 8 bytes. Very large interval integers equivalent to long int. Unsigned long, very large positive integers or 0. Long double, used for extremely large floating point numbers. Signed char, it can store numbers between minus 127 to plus 127. Unsigned char, it can store from 0 to 255. Here, because all 8 bits are available, here only 7 bits are available, 1 bit is used for the sign. So this is the size of variables are shown making certain assumptions, but each machine other than the character data type of 1 byte will have different sizes for data types. But popularly, int is going to be 4, long tends to be 4 or 8, float tends to be 4, double can be 8, long and all depend on the machine.